kids, grown kids. Grown kids is choosing to go no contact with parents. Grown kids are choosing to go non-contact with parents. Send that to Turkey or not. Send that to Turkey or not. Let me know in the chat. Send that to Turkey or not. Again, I want to thank y'all for tapping in. We're on every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30 p.m. If this is your first time watching, I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. A quick shout out to my normal co-host, which is Santana, or my guest co-host, Jokey from Jokey Entertainment. So shout out to those brothers, man. Uh, Again, let me know to send them to Turkey or not. Again, growing kids are choosing to go non-contact with parents. I'm going to say send this notion all the way to Turkey on a first class flight as well. Send this to Turkey. Any child, I don't want to say child, any grown adult that's choosing to go no contact with their family or with their parent have some serious issues. And the reason why I say that, because each kid relationship with their parent is different all across the board. Now I can get, if you grew up, and shout out to Paul in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate Paul in the building. If you're a grown kid now and you grew up and you and your parent didn't have the best of relationships, the relationship is toxic, um, they was on drugs, they abused you, they essayed you, then I can get that, right? But there's a notion going around that if you're a good parent, then there's no way your kids will go non-contact. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because as people, we want when we want it. And when you become a young adult, that newfound air of independence and not necessarily having to do what your parents said to do, that's a high all in itself. Now, most kids that's choosing this will say, well, I didn't choose to be born. Guess what? Your parents didn't have the choice to be born either. But they're here. So at the end of the day, you can't have it both ways. You can't hold on to being a victim as a child, as a grown adult, and then look at your parents and say, "Well, I'm choosing to go non-contact, but I'm struggling on top of that." You see what our relationship, how it affected my life? No, you choose to go non-contact. So every decision that you make on your own, yes, it affects you, but you're choosing to cut your access. You're choosing to cut your protection. You're choosing to cut everything that it comes with having your parent in your life as an adult, because it hits different. And it's a part of this new era. Again, when I was in my 20s, did I want to go non-contact with my parents? No. And me and my parents, our relationship, we was close, but it wasn't perfect. It was borderline toxic. God rest their souls. Both my parents, they died back to back of each other. Miss them still to this day. Me and my father relationship was like brothers. Me and my mom relationship was very close. Very close. My mother said some things to me that I would never forget, that was not in the best of light, that I still think of from time to time, but I still think of happy memories of my mother. Because guess what? Me and my mom had great times. And as I became an adult, I realized I needed my parents more as an adult. Not for anything else, but to know that I have people in the world that have my back emotionally and spiritually. Had nothing to do with finances. Has everything to know, like, yo, I still got back in this world. I still got people that when they hear my name, they think the best of me, right? So that was my notion with my parents. So a lot of my friends, they had toxic relationships with their parents too. Did they ever go non-contact? No. My mother will blow up my phone all day, every day, telling me she needs something. Knowing she could go get it. She don't care about her going to get it. She just want me to go get it just so she could see me, touch me. Not touch. I get what I mean by touch me. You know what I mean. Just being a part of my life, even though it got on my last nerve. Same thing with my pops. Me and my pops argued all the time. We couldn't get much agreed up on. Michael Jordan did play for the Bulls. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Argue about cats and dogs all the time, but that was still my dude. Still my dude. And kids is going non-contact for way less than that. So at the end of the day, I'm throwing this to Turkey altogether. So I'm sitting in this notion that kids, I want to say kids, but grown adults or young adults is choosing to go non-contact with their parents. Uh Shout out to Paul in the building again. Is that your parents on the pic behind you on the wall? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yup. Those are my peoples in the back. That's where I came from. Uh, so again, no, I don't think most kids from this era realize that their parents wasn't born parents, right? And two, there's no book to parenting. So every situation is not going to be handled the way you want it to be handled. It's not going to be handled with the utmost explanation. Because me personally, like I was raised with no explanation. Some of y'all may know what I mean when I say that. What I mean is when I was raised with no explanation, if my mother or my dad said something, it was like, yo, just do it. I'm not asking them why. I'm not doing it. Because I know I'm gonna get chin check. See what I'm saying? I developed a mean bob and weave game because of my parents, especially my mom. She was quick and sneaky with hers. You know what I'm saying? Well, my pops, I kind of knew when, you know what I'm saying? I looked at that back foot, like Deion Sanders said, that back foot, dog. When he put the back foot, I knew he was about to swing. You know what I'm saying? So my bob and weave game was impeccable. You see what I'm saying? So again, the fact that kids is not working through situations with their parents and choosing to go non-contact, this is more of an era thing. This is not a thing about just parents, because you can't tell me that this era of parents is not good parents. All we did was try. My parents, all they did was try. My parents wasn't the most attentive people, but but they was there. They was there. Were they the most intensive? Yeah, now y'all got me messing up my word. But were they the most intensive people? No, no, because them being there, they felt like, yo, that's enough. But I don't hold their feet to the fire on that because they did the best that they can do. Because their parents, they was there, but they wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? It's just different each generation. So again, I'm sending that notion to Turkey. I'm on live. Stop texting me. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. Button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. All right, y'all. First hot topic of the night. Uh, it seems like we here, y'all. It seems like we here. Uh, the U.S. We are at war with Iran. They said President Trump said it was nuclear, a successful attack on 3 nuclear sites. So we are at war